U P E R C A L I F R A G I L I S T I C E X P I A L I D O C I O U S.
What's up, guys? Leslie Robbins here for Young Hollywood. I am kicking it with Mary Poppins.
I'm actually just Rachel right now, but I'm going to show you guys around backstage, and I'm going to show you the dressing room where I become Mary Poppins. So we are backstage at the Amundsen, and I'm going to show you around. So this over here is our call board area. This is where we have sort of like everything you need to know for work, and then there's a bunch of stuff that you might need to know for housing, for company management stuff. But this is where we sign in right over here. This is how they know that we're all here. Yeah, and then over here is like rehearsal schedules. You can see sort of who's out for the night and who's in. This is where we sign up for hotels for coming cities. So that you get to sort of think about life a couple weeks and or months in advance.
You can't even enjoy the town you're in. You got to plan the next one.
You're just preparing the next one, exactly.
But you are lucky because your boyfriend is in LA, so
I know he's here.
I think that's amazing. This is a great city for you.
This is a good gig for many, many reasons. Here's our glamorous coffee station. This is where I don't usually drink coffee around the time of the show because it really dehydrates you, but sometimes before a 2-show day, I'll get like half a cup of coffee and just sip on it, and that'll wake me up a little bit. We have a number of principal dressing rooms are in offshoots along this hallway. And then what you're gonna see, we're walking up here on our left. This is our stage left entrance. Over here you can see some of my costumes on the rack that are currently being worked on for the show, and then my dressing room is just through this way. You know, I've got tons of beautiful costumes that need to be meticulously pressed and steamed for every single performance. So the crew here is working tirelessly and has made the show absolutely gorgeous. We owe them a huge debt. I must have at least 10 or 12 changes throughout the show. It's a lot. It's good. It gets you in shape.
And how many people are in this cast? Because it is a massive cast.
Yeah, I think there's low 30s, I think, in the cast, and then we obviously travel with a whole bunch of our crew, our awesome crew. Our travel days every Monday in the airport are pretty excessive. It's like a huge Disney mafia just lands at a new airport.
Did you ever have a moment on a plane where someone was like, Mary Poppins, will you sing for me? Or spoonful of sugar?
I was, you know, when you have to like make sure that your bags aren't 50 pounds, I had to go take stuff out of my bags and rearrange stuff because my bags were overweight. And the guy who was gonna put the bag on the conveyor belt came over and was like, I took my wife to see your show, you're Mary Poppins, right? And I was like, hi, and I'm like dealing with my completely unorganized bag. So I am the least Mary-like on travel days.
Okay, Rachel, being on this stage, it's making me kind of want to jump into the show. So you have to teach me a dance, maybe spoonful of sugar or step in time.
Sometimes a little. Let's go teach you Super Cal. I've got 2 people here who are in the show and they're amazing, and I think that they will eagerly help you learn Super Cal. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Super Cal for short. So you are here to learn part of our Super Cal, as we call it, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious choreography.
It looked really hard.
It's, you know what it is? Once it's in your bones, you'll never forget it. So a couple of the first things today, I have Danielle and Stephen here, who are awesome in our show and are gonna help you learn to do some of the stuff. So we start out with our S. So if you guys could show us how to make an S. And this happens during the part of our show when we decide to spell out all of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So I think that like the longest YMCA you've ever seen in your life. So it's S, and then the next one is U, which is like, they describe it as, think about holding a seashell and putting it right near your ear and listening to it right up there. Yes, exactly. Can you guys show us P next? So your left hand comes over, and then your right hand comes to meet it right on the other side, and then it looks like this. And then E, I'm gonna back up a little bit so that you can do E. But you wanna think about having your elbow touch your forearm. So it looks kind of like this if you look at it face on. Then R, you think of like an opera singer. Think about the sound coming out, and then you kind of like grow from ah. Oh, I dropped my mic. R, exactly. S, U, P, E, R. Brilliant, brilliant.
You guys are the pros. I want to see you guys do it once.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. S-U-P-E-R. C-A-L-I-F-R-A-G-I-L. ISTICEXPIALIDOCIOUS. Woo!
So that was amazing. And to see you guys do it, I think twice fully on stage. And they last
We do it like
2 huge numbers, right?
yeah, we do it then, and then we do it again in the bows, and within the song we do it like 7 or 8 times.
You're spot on perfection as Mary Poppins, I have to say.
thank you.
You never break character. That means you're professional, because obviously.
I have my moments where sometimes little things will happen where I'm just like, oh, okay, and I have a way of channeling a Rachel response into a Mary response. During one of the numbers, my hat like fell off during Step in Time, which is probably why I was securing it. I think it was the night before. My hat flew off, and I ended up having to like figure out how to use my hat for the rest of the show.
Now I have to ask, what happens if you're in a bad mood one day?
You get out of it?
Yeah, because literally Mary Poppins can't be in a bad mood. I know you have your Rachel moments, like you said. What happens if you're in a bad mood, you're having a day? How do you?
I mean, it's different all the time, right? Like some days, some things work to get you out of a mood, or like I'm a perfectionist. I have to do my best. If I'm not doing my best, I go crazy. So even if 5 seconds before I go on stage and I'm talking with the stage managers, like there's a moment in between being like, and then on, when you just let go of it and then go out and do your job. And sometimes it's literally like the kids are on stage, they show up and I see them for the first time and they're just looking at me and you're like, oh, okay.
Those faces.
How can I,
yeah.
Honestly, how can you just play? It's time to play now.
In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun.